Hi guys, Bob Mead, CEO and founder of iQagent. Today I want to talk about how to set up push notifications and email notifications for your iOS and Android devices. So basically the functionality here is you can set up a data point that's configured on an iQagent point of interest to send a push notification to your mobile device or an email or both, so that you can be aware of what's going on in your process and alert your plant floor workers. So for instance, if there's scrap being produced, they can go take care of it. The prerequisites for using notifications are you need iQagent Enterprise 3.100 or higher, and you have to have a valid product license. Please note that the notification features requires your annual maintenance subscription because we have to also pay a subscription for the server. For the iQagent server, you have to have the following. You will need internet access to be able to send notifications out to the appropriate server, and there's some ports that have to be open. So for Apple, you need 5223 to communicate with APNs, and you need 443 or 2197 to send the notifications. If you're using Android devices, you also need 52, 28, 29, and 30 for the Firebase service, which is Android, and 443 that is required when you activate your device to subscribe. So the steps that I'm going to show you, it's actually a very simple process. First, we're going to check that push notifications are enabled. That's in the iQagent DB utility. We'll also create and assign notification groups, and these are assigned to your mobile devices using the unique app token. Then we're going to create a notification on a process value. I'm going to use an OPC-DA point from Kepware to do this. And then we'll test the notification by exceeding the limit that we set on our process value. So let's get started. To start, go to your Windows desktop or your server desktop and find the iQagent DB utility. Right-click and choose Run as Administrator. When the utility opens, go to the Server and Notifications tab and just make sure Push Notifications is enabled. It is enabled by default. The notification interval, which is how often notifications are processed, is typically set to 20 seconds, but you can set it anywhere from 5 seconds to an entire day. If you do make changes, make sure you press the Save Changes button, and it'll ask you to restart the server service, which you should do. Then you can just close the application. Next, we're going to open the iQagent configuration tool, so you can just pop open a browser, type in localhost or your IP address or your fully qualified domain name. And we're on the POIs page, so we're going to go to admin. First thing we're going to do is look at our notification groups, and you can see I've got quite a few created here. Really, they're just names, and so I can create a new group. Here we will do, say, operations if we want. Once we have these created, that's all there is to creating these, we'll go to our devices page. This is where we have all of our mobile devices that our users are using registered, and so each app has a token. And so I'm going to be using my iPhone so that I can show you what the notification looks like. This is my app token, and so what I would do is just come in here and then just make sure I have the appropriate notification group assigned. And then I've also added my email address. We also have email notifications, and so if you've got an email server set up, I'll show you that in a moment, then you also will get an email in addition to the push notification that you have. So going back to our admin page, we can look at our email server settings. You can use pretty much any qualified email server. I've set up IIS on another machine on my network. I use IIS 6 and just set up SMTP server that allows me to send. And so you can also test your settings here. Now that we've got our device registered, we want to go set up a notification point. So we'll go back to our POI page. Here in Kepware, under device 1, I've created a tag called spool diameter. And if I open the quick client, you can see right now it's just got a value of 0. So I can manipulate that value right here and put it, to any value that I want. So we're going to use this tag to notify us when the spool diameter is greater than, say, 90 inches. So the first thing that I would do is I'm going to go add that data point to one of my points of interest. So I've just got a POI that I use here. I could choose OPC DA or UA for this particular server. I'll just do DA. And here's Kepware. And then I'll just browse directly to the path. There's my spool diameter, so I'll check that and then just click Add. So now I've got my spool diameter, and it's going to show up on this point of interest. If we click the name, we can edit this. Here, just to do a notification, I'll just choose enable. And here's where we set the value and the operator that will cause the notification to be triggered. So you can see we've got quite a few choices. We've got not equal, less than, equal to, equal, greater than, equal to, or we call this change by more than. So if I were to use this particular operator and put a value of 5, then the user would be notified if the value changes in value by more than 5. So plus 5 or minus 5. But I'm just going to do something simple here and just say that if the spool diameter goes above 90, then I want to notify everyone in the operators group. That's the group that my phone belongs in. And then I'll just give it a message here. And then I'll just choose update. Now you can see we've got the little bell icon here that tells us that there's a notification configured. Now you might be wondering how you keep up with your notifications because they're going to be on your points of interest. Well, on the admin page, we've added one place to see all of your notification tags, and you can edit them directly here. So here is the spool diameter. So if I choose motor 56, and I'm just going to hold my control button down so it opens it up in another tab, it's going to open it directly to that point of interest so I can go make changes. Or I can just choose data point name, and I can make my changes right here so we don't have to run all over the place. So now we've got a notification, and notice that we've got the same bell icon here. It's green because it means that this notification is not active. So the value, as we saw, is 0. So of course it's not active. Next, what I'm going to do is pull up my iPhone to show you. Okay, so here's my iPhone. And I'm going to tap the I button, and you'll see that it notices it is in groups operators as well. So we'll just go back to the home page. I'm just going to dismiss the iQagent app so it's not even running. And now I'll go trigger the notification. So we'll go to our OPC Quick Client, and I will just do a synchronous write. I'm going to put a value greater than 90 and just hit apply. Okay, so you see the notification comes up even though the phone was off and the app wasn't running. It gives me information about the notification. If I tap it, it's going to open up the iQagent app. It's going to show the notification again, and I hit show POI, and it will bring up the POI that that data point is associated with. So if you look at your spool diameter, you can see there's our 93. I will tap the info button, and we would have procedures here, how to clear the alarm or whatever documentation you want. You could also have the POI open directly to the info view to show the documentation however you want. And I'll go ahead and clear this. And then on my phone, let's go back and just look at our email. And you'll see that we do have an email from the notification service. It gives us a link, it tells us, what's going on with the notification. And if you tap that link, then you can go back and open the POI inside of iQagent. You can either get it via email or a push notification. One other thing I wanted to show you back at the configuration tool, we'll go to the admin page to our notification tags. You can see the bell icon is green because we reset the spool diameter point back to 0. I'll just move this so that you can see. But if I set that value to something higher than our target, which is 90, you'll see that it goes red to tell you that it's on. And of course, it also set my phone off. And then if we set this back to 0, then you should see it clear once the interval notification catches up with it. Okay, there we go. Now, if you need more detail, documentation on how to do stuff in iQagent, go to the admin page under documentation. And here is the documentation for email and push notifications. It goes into a lot greater detail on how to set this stuff up. And it also has quite a few other topics, changing your database, best practices, and things like that. Okay, guys, that's all I have for you today. I appreciate you watching. Please visit our website at iQagent.com. or you can hit us up on Facebook or Twitter. Thanks.